diplomatic tax ID, and APC endorses Governor Fubara for second term as Rivers governor. Details now. Thank you for staying tuned. The World News at 12 begins with the United States carrying out intelligence gathering surveillance flights over large areas of Nigeria since late November, according to flight tracking data and current and former U.S. officials and reports from Reuters. The report noted that the surveillance flights signaled closer security cooperation between both countries, heightened diplomatic tensions. According to Reuters, the purpose of the flight could not be independently determined. However, they followed threats made in November by U.S. President Donald Trump to intervene militarily in Nigeria over what he described as the government's failure to halt violence against Christian communities. The foreign media added that the operations also come months after a U.S. pilot working for a missionary organization was kidnapped in neighboring Niger. Reuters reported that flight tracking data for December showed that the contractor-operated aircraft typically departs from Ghana, flies over Nigeria, and then returns to Accra. The Africa team lead for the Critical Threat Project at the American Enterprise Institute, Liam Carr, said his analysis of the flight data indicated the operation was being run out of Accra, a known logistics hub for the U.S. military in Africa. He said the flight appeared to signal that Washington was rebuilding intelligence capacity in the region after Niger ordered U.S. troops to leave a major air base last year and instead sought security assistance from Russia. The report further explained that the current U.S. official confirmed that the aircraft has been flying over Nigeria but declined to provide further details, citing diplomatic sensitivities. In a recent development, two suspected fighters of the Islamic State West Africa province ISWAP have been arrested in Lagos. The suspects, identified as Modu Ghana and Ibrahim Duge, were apprehended on Sunday, December 21 by operatives of the Department of State Services DSS. A security source with direct knowledge of the operation told journalists that the suspects were arrested in Apapa. The source said they were arrested at about 8:45 a.m. on Sunday, adding that both men are currently in detention for interrogation. According to findings, the arrest followed intelligence reports that the suspects had fled the insurgency-hit northeast and relocated to Lagos. The specific mission of the suspect in the state was not immediately clear. When contacted, an official of the DSS media unit said the arrest had not been brought to the agency's attention. Since the redeployment of its former spokesperson, Peter Afanaya, the DSS has adopted a covert media policy explaining that this is necessary to enable the agency to effectively carry out its intelligence duties. There were no indications as of press time that the suspects were planning an attack in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. However, security experts have warned that ISWAP has been making efforts to expand its operations beyond the northeast. The Boko Haram insurgency, which has lasted for over 15 years, has splintered into factions following internal divisions in 2012 and 2016. Meanwhile, the National Identification Number (NIN) issued by the National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) has now automatically become a tax ID for Nigerians, according to the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS). The declaration comes amidst concerns about a provision of the tax laws mandating a tax ID for bank account ownership. According to data released by the NIMC, a total of 123.9 million Nigerians have been issued the NIN as of October 2025. In a public awareness campaign on the new tax laws posted on X on Monday, the service also noted that for registered businesses, the RC number issued by the Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC) automatically becomes a tax ID under the new tax system. The Nigeria Tax Administration Act (NTAA), bill to come into force from January 2026, mandates the use of a tax ID for certain transactions, according to the campaign. The FIRS added that the new tax ID system simplify identification, reduce duplication, closes loophole for tax evasion, and ensures fairness so that everyone who earns taxable income contributes their share. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) wants the suspension of the Tax Reform Act over the alleged alteration of some sections in the gazetted version as opposed to what was passed by the National Assembly. last week. A member of the House of Representatives from Sokoto State, Abdul Samad Dasuki, raised an alarm over alleged differences between the tax laws passed by the National Assembly and the gazetted version. Following the lawmaker's disclosure, the NBA in a statement today said the development raises grave concerns about the integrity, transparency, and credibility of Nigeria's legislative process and called for a comprehensive, open, and transparent investigation to be conducted to clarify the circumstances surrounding the enactment of the laws. He added that the allegations strike at the very heart of constitutional governance and call into question the procedural sanctity that must attend lawmaking in a democratic society. The NBA also cautioned that the controversy could have economic implications, noting that such legal and policy uncertainty of these magnitude has far-reaching consequences. The Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, has confirmed no casualty or death was recorded as a train collided with a Toyota Hiace bus on Monday night at Arena, Oshodi, Lagos. LASEMA disclosed this in a preliminary report issued by the Permanent Secretary of the agency, Olufemi Oke Osayintolu, dated today, December 23, 2025. Following the alert, the agency said it immediately activated the State Emergency Response Plan from its Kappa base in Oshodi and deployed its response team to the scene. They noted that following distress alerts received on the 767 and 112 toll-free emergency lines at 7:53, the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, activated the State Emergency Response Plans from its Kappa base in Oshodi. According to LASEMA, its response team arrived at the scene by 8:11 p.m., where it discovered that a train had collided with a white Toyota Hiace bus. Giving details of how the accident occurred, the agency said preliminary findings show that reckless driving by the bus driver led to the incident. The agency noted that despite the severity of the collision, no one was injured. However, the crash caused significant damage to the bus. LASEMA said its response team carried out a risk assessment at the scene and implemented safety measures to prevent further incidents. The agency also confirmed that train operations were temporarily halted to allow for evacuation of the bus. According to the report, the bus has since been removed from the tracks and towed to the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA yard in Oshodi. LASEMA further stated that the rail line had been cleared and normal activities have been restored. The response operation involved LASEMA officials from the Kappa base in Oshodi as well as officers of LASMA. Meanwhile, political scientists has warned that Nigeria's democracy risks being tilted further in favor of the wealthy following the House of Representatives' decision to sharply increase campaign spending limits for candidates seeking elective offices. Speaking to journalist Professor Muritala Mohammed of Northwest University in Kano, said the new thresholds could turn elections into a contest of financial power rather than ideas, competence, and public trust. According to him, while the inclusion of a real-time electronic transmission of results is a positive reform, it is overshadowed by what he described as a dangerous recalibration of campaign financing rules that could deepen inequality and weaken democratic accountability. The concerns comes after the House passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025 following clause-by-clause consideration of a report by the House Committee on Electoral Matters chaired by Adebayo Balogun. Under the amended law, the maximum amount a presidential candidate can spend was increased from 5 billion naira to 10 billion naira, while the limit for governorship candidates rose from 1 billion naira to 3 billion naira. Campaign spending ceilings were also raised across other levels. Senatorial candidates can now spend up to 500 million, up from 100 million naira. Candidates from the House of Reps are allowed to spend 250 million naira compared to the previous 70 million. For state constituencies, the cap was raised from 30 million to 100 million. Chairmanship candidates can now spend 60 million instead of 30 million, while councillorship candidates' limit doubled from 5 million naira to 10 million naira. The House also approved a provision limiting individual or corporate donations to a maximum of 500 million naira per candidate. In addition, it passed an amendment mandating the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to transmit election results electronically in real time. However, Professor Mohammed cautioned that higher spending limits could make wealth the main gateway to political power in a country marked by deep economic inequality. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress APC has urged residents of Rivers State to deliver overwhelming vote for President Bola Tinubu and Governor Fubara following the governor's recent defection to the ruling party. The call was made by the APC National Secretary Ajibola Bashiru while addressing party supporters in the state. Bashiru's remarks were captured in a video posted on Facebook by the Rivers State Television. The Rivers State Government House disclosed that Bashiru spoke on Monday during the commissioning of the Permanent Secretary's quarters in Elimbu. Congratulating the governor and the party, Bashiru said Fubara's performance in office reflected positively on the APC. The APC scribe expressed confidence that Rivers State would deliver massive votes for the party in forthcoming elections, including the presidential poll. Fubara's defection to the APC has effectively placed all states in the South-South region under the control of the ruling party, marking a major political shift in a zone historically dominated by the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The governor's move came days after he visited President Tinubu following months of political crisis in Rivers State that pitted him against his predecessor and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike. You're currently listening to World News at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I'm now being joined by Mr. Elvis Elimihele for the news analyst segment on the World News at 12 this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Elvis, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon, Choma. How's your day?
Very well, thank you. Please, compliments of the season to you as well. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
All right. I can't really hear you properly. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's my... All right. Please speak again.
How's your day, Choma?
Very well, very well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for joining us. Many Lagosians are not very happy at the moment, and it's not just about the fact that they don't have what to use to celebrate the Yuletide, but about the fact that they heard that 2 ISWAP terrorists were arrested in Apapa in Lagos, and now they're asking, it's been said over and over again that these people want to expand their base from the northeast, they've entered the northwest, they're entering into parts of the southwest. Are they finally going to be able to take over Nigeria's commercial capital of Lagos, or the federal government will absolutely not allow this, and they will make sure that the fight against terrorism continues in a way that they won't? Because if anything happens to and these terrorists are able to start carrying out these deadly attacks in Lagos, it's going to be very terrible for Nigeria's image, Nigeria's economy, and our security at large.
Choma, that news, when I got that story, it's so scary to hear that ISWAP's members are now being found in Lagos. This is not a city to toy with as far as Nigeria is concerned. Is it the economy? Is it the population? Is it the strategic location of Lagos? All these matters, you understand? So if this is true, whatever ramification, that means the armed forces have to double up their operations, especially to make sure that Lagos is secured and kept out of insurgency. Because look at the population of Lagos, Choma. Is there anywhere they will strike in Lagos that be talking of thousands of people killed? The population that I know Shudi today, the population that are in Ikeja, not to talk of Yaba and Obanede, then down to Mile 12, which is almost like a base of the northern people. So, if this news is actually true, the DSS, the Nigeria police, and all the paraphernalia that has to do with armed forces in Nigeria must double up their effort. Lagos must be secured, because if anything happens to Lagos, if Lagos is strike, the economy of Nigeria is struck completely.
When we talk like this, it begs the question: does that mean the residents of Plateau, Benue, Kaduna, Sokoto, Kogi, Kwara, and other places that have been enduring this insecurity for days, for months, and indeed for many, many years now, are they less Nigerian than those of us in Lagos?
No, they are not less. But what we are talking about is the population. The population in Lagos is just too much, Choma. They are not less in any kind, any type at all. That's why we in Lagos that have not really been affected, we keep sharing their empathy. We keep empathizing with them and putting their matter in the front burner for the whole world to know that some of our brothers and sisters in those states you mentioned are going through serious agony in the hands of terrorists. But now, I just mentioned some part of Lagos now. Is there anywhere they will strike in Lagos that will not be having double of what we hear in those states? They go to villages in those states and sack them. But in Lagos, if they enter any commercial area in Lagos, let's take, for instance, Oshodi. Do you know how many people that will be affected? They are not less, Choma. But my fear is that Lagos is too cosmopolitan for anything of that nature to even be talked of, not alone, not even for it to be, executed. So Lagos need to be secured. You know the number of traffic that commute through the mainland to island. Talk of a place like Third Mainland Bridge. You know, these terrorists, they always want to hack the government in where the pains will be so much on the government and the people. So these are areas that we don't want to mention this type of a thing in Lagos. But I think since the story has come out and the news has come out and the guys have been arrested, these guys should be properly quizzed so that we know whether they have, so their informants are already here, some of their foot soldiers are already here, and be picked up immediately. And you know, this is Utah period. You remember what happened in Mandala church bomb, Christmas Day bombing in Niger State some years ago. This is Christmas period. We should also remind Nigerians now, because as the activities are gearing up so high now for the Utah, every worship centers, worship places, fun event places and all that should be properly secured, because these guys want to hack. If they want to hack, they know they always want a situation where it will be much more deadly for people to know that they are alive and they are effective. But that will not happen to us here. So this is just an alarm. This is just a warning. This is just an alert. And we are happy that the security have been able to pick them up. But they should do more of probing to know whether their foot soldiers are already in Lagos.
All right, then, talking about Nigeria's intelligence, we're getting reports that the U.S. has been conducting surveillance flights over Nigeria, and that it signals closer security cooperation between U.S. and Nigeria due to these diplomatic tensions ever since Trump called Nigeria a disgraced nation and designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Now, the reports are that the U.S., that's Washington, they want to rebuild intelligence capacity in the region after Niger ordered U.S. troops to leave a major airbase last year, and instead they sought security assistance from Russia. So quite a number of our West African neighbors are pushing out, countries like the U.S., countries like France, opting instead, to go for Russia. But Nigeria has a very strong relationship with France. Nigeria has a very strong relationship, or is building a strong relationship with the United States, right? And with this happening, it was just last week that the 11 soldiers who were arrested for landing an aircraft on Burkina Faso soil were released. So we keep looking at this distrust, but let's talk about what this intelligence is doing for Nigeria's security. Is it really helping us?
At the moment now, Choma, we are like a captured state. So whatever assistance we need now, we will welcome it. Do you understand? It is not really that it is so palatable for a sovereign nation to now begin to talk of another nation now coming to plant security intelligence around the sovereignty. But the situation we find ourselves, we're just talking about Lagos. You know the investment most of these countries you also mentioned have in a city like Lagos. So at this moment, we don't have any choice. It's not as if it's healthy, because nobody can even do that within their own territory. Those countries like France and US and all that. But when we can no longer take care of our security, we can no longer secure our people, then we have to open our doors and open our arms for those that will be of help for us to come and assist us. Look at what is happening. We can't allow this death to continue. We can't allow this insurgency to continue, this terrorism to continue. So wherever assistance we can get now, we should accept it. Then after we've been able to curb all this, then we can now begin to talk of remodifying our relationship with whatever country that have assisted us. So for me, at this moment, Choma, whatever assistance that comes from any country, I think we should welcome it.
All right, whatever assistance is coming from whatever country, but the question is, as Nigeria seems to be getting this assistance, what is the other country getting in return? You understand how?
No. The other countries you made mention of, like the Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali, they fell out with their colonial master. That's the French government. So that's why all these years they've been there. But they just discovered that the French government was actually, taking from them more than what they were giving to them. But that's why I'm saying that this one we are trying to go into should just be to assist us to get this insurgency out of this nation. Then after that, if we are going to continue, that should be another kettle of fish altogether. Then we can now modify the relationship. Nobody is happy with what the French government did to our Francophone brothers. You see, there's no development. Imagine before they give budget, whatever budget they are giving out in every year, it has to be approved in France before they can that budget can be approved for them. And whatever construction that is going to be carried out in any other country, the French government has the right of what they call the right of reserve for them to be the first person to apply for whatever construction or any job that is going to be carried out in that country. So we don't have that. We are not going into such thing. So if Nigerians go to the other way of saying, oh, they want to come and tap our mineral resources, that's why they are coming. Choma, forget about that. It is those that are alive that remember that the country has mineral resources, and even the mineral resources for the past 60 years, or even for the past 40 something 50 years that we have had oil in this nation. How many of Nigerians are actually benefiting from it? It's in the hand of the few. Nigerians are still clamoring that give us good road, give us good medical facilities, and give us good schools. That's why we're still calling on government. But you see Nigerians, billionaires of Nigerians that are setting up universities. Do you know what it means to set up universities? Do you think that this money that Nigerians are using to set up universities are actually money that they work for themselves? Most of this money are coming from the money that we're taking away from you and I, the facility that's supposed to be given to us. That's why they don't know where to channel it to, because that's a humongous project. They now started setting up university. As private university not become like private secondary school and primary schools again, because Nigerian politicians always look for a fertile land where they could quickly put in their money before the EFCC catch up on them. You can't keep such money in the bank. So forget about it. So if the Nigerians are like, oh, they are coming to tap our resources, Nigerian resources has not helped any Nigerian. It's only in the hands of few. And as a result, whatever assistance we can get from foreign bodies now to liberate Nigerians from these strangles of this terrorism, we need it so that Nigerians can go back their normal businesses. Nigerians don't go to farm any longer. How many Nigerians do federal government feed? People want to travel from Benin. Yesterday, one of my friends was traveling from Benin to Abuja. For over 12 hours, he was on that road, everywhere locked because the road is not good. That's the road leading to the federal capital. Then somebody will be saying that they want to. Is it not the resources we have had over the years? Why have we not used it to better the life of Nigerians? So I'm not just part of that narrative, Choma. So what if they want to come in? Let them come in. We Nigerians need to live first before they remember that have resources.
One question Nigerians are asking is how possible is it that our own intelligence agencies, our own intelligence community are very lax when it comes to knowing what is happening within our own country, and a foreign nation can come and know what is happening in our own intelligence security?
Choma,
they don't know.
Choma, one, insincerity. Most of Nigeria intelligence system is not, they are insincere to Nigerians. Then number two, we don't have the technology as far as is concerned, to track intelligence. Now Nigeria have not gotten it. How many what do you call it we have in the space orbit do you have in the space? How many? Do you think it's just this one that they say you want to track a ordinary video released by the terrorists? Nigerians cannot track it. We don't have the facilities, and even the little we have, even the little intelligence we have, Nigerians are not sincere. They are not sincere. They keep telling lies. They keep come and tell you they play down whatever is going on. Ever since this insurgency began, especially the one that is going across the North Central from Plateau down to Benue down to Kwara and all that. They keep telling you it's header and farmers clash, and we know it's beyond that. Because of this, they are not ready to do the needful. So if we see any country that have more intelligence, that have more sophisticated equipment to be able to assist us, we should welcome them.
All right, then let's now quickly look at the new tax laws that has been quite the source of brouhaha in the country for a while now. The FIRS, that's the Federal Inland Revenue Service, has actually posted on X, formerly called Twitter, on Monday to let Nigerians know that the tax identification number is no longer mandatory. If you have your NIN, it will now serve as an automatic tax ID, which is what many Nigerians have been saying. You have the BVN, a means of identification. You have the NIN, a means of identification. You have if you have your
even
passport,
driver's license,
if you have your passport, if you have your
yes.
driver's license, all of that means of identification. If you want to enter school, sometimes they'll tell you to go and get your local government certificate, because I remember that I got that. My father had
local
to travel
government of origin.
My father had to travel all the way to the east to
Yes.
get that and bring it back for me. I still have it up to today.
Yes.
So Nigerians were asking why can we not streamline, because we have a minister of a digital economy. Why can we not streamline all of these numbers into one and have a database that works. We keep generating different numbers up and down. Well, it seems the FIRS has listened, and now they say your NIN will serve as an automatic tax identification number for you. They say for registered businesses, the RC number issued by the Corporate Affairs Commission, the CAC, automatically becomes the business tax ID. That's to say, maybe people who already have tax IDs, they can still retain it, but if you don't have, instead of rushing to try to get it before January 1st, because I've been trying the website, it's not even working.
Choma, I'm so glad to hear this news this afternoon. It's one of the best. I mean, you tied a gift this nation has given us this year. Since we started hearing tax identification number by January 1st, you cannot operate your account again if you don't have it. Do you know the apprehension? Nigerians were becoming so apprehensive. For me, I have one for my company, but I don't have the individual one. So my mind was like, if I cannot get it before January 1st, which means I have to call anybody that I want to send anything to me, let it channel it through my company account. But do you know what this would have cost to Nigerians? This would have also been like when Emefiele was changing, giving color to Nigerian Naira, when we were talking of changing Nigerian Naira. You know what we went through. You should have known how Nigerians were going to start besieging the few offices of the FIRS in the new year to start looking for tax identification number. We have to actually thank the Ministry for Digital Affairs, at least working at this in collaboration with the Federal Inland Revenue, for all these numbers that at least they have this identity number we have already to actually help us to cushion this. That the trauma would have been too much, and you know what it means. Where is that office that would have be able to accommodate Nigeria? Is there? Do you know how many Nigerians that have bank accounts? But I thank God, at least this one has come to cushion that very difficult information that was being peddled around, that you have to get your tax identification number not by as from January 1st. If you don't have it, you cannot operate your account. I think this one has brought a lot of real leverage. It should be commended, Choma.
All right then. But while we're looking at this, the NBA is calling for a suspension of the Tax Reform Act. This is coming after Sokoto House of Reps member Abdul Samad Dasuki raised an alarm, saying that there is a difference between the tax law that the National Assembly passed and the one that was gazetted and released for Nigerians to see, saying that something may have been added. The NBA is saying it should be suspended. It should be looked at instead of us just going into January and then it's implemented and Nigerians don't know. Is it the one passed by the National Assembly we are following? Is it the gazetted ones we are following? Although Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the Presidential Tax Committee and Fiscal Policy, has come out to say that, look, it's a lie. Everything we are hearing in the media is a lie. But Nigerians are used to all of this debunking.
Yeah, because they are very good in telling us lies. So whatever we hear, we don't even want to believe in them. This is not a difficult thing, Choma. Somebody raised this matter in the house that, there is discrepancies in what was approved in the house and what eventually came out. He raised an alarm. So if there are discrepancies, if there are changes, it's very easy. You place the one that the house approved, that was approved in the house, and bring out the one that the federal government is eventually trying to push to us now, gazette and proves to us. Let us place them side by side and see where the infractions are coming from. If there are no infractions, it means it's a lie. But if there are infractions, what does it take to actually, let's go by the one that was approved in the National Assembly, because the National Assembly is made up of constituent members, and these members are coming from a constituency, and let us believe that at least they represented our interest before they came out with that approval. So if the government is trying to infuse in some certain things that will be detrimental to us, then we should not go by the government, because that one is a conculcation of just from the ruling party, for them to just use it to favor themselves, not knowing that even if they favor themselves today, tomorrow they may not be the ruling party. Because I've heard some of those infractions that are infused in there. It may not continuously favor the ruling party, because the ruling party today may not be the ruling party tomorrow. So whatever you think you are doing now, it may boomerang. Some years ago it was PDP. Today it's a APC. We don't know what it will be by as for 2027. So, but this is not something that should be be giving us sleepless night. Place the two side by side. Let us see where these infractions are coming from, and let the federal government know that the one that came from the National Assembly, that was approved by the National Assembly, that is the one the people will go by. So not the one that was brought out of Aso Rock by few individuals who are enemies of Nigerians, meddling in together just for them to make sure that Nigerians don't breathe. We will not accept that. It is not a difficult thing, Choma. So I love what Nigerian Bar Association is doing. Let's suspend the two and let's see where the infractions is coming from and let it be corrected before we can know the one to fly with.
All right, then. While we're talking about this, a political scientist has actually raised alarm, saying that the new campaign spending limits approved by the National Assembly will weaken INEC and also weaken Nigeria's democracy. The Electoral Act has been amended. Now we will no longer say Electoral Act 2022, but Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025. There was a consideration by the House.
No, these are still debate on that 2025. It's not as if it has been passed yet. Yes.
All right, now the thing is, under this amended law, right, the maximum amount a presidential candidate can spend was increased from 5 billion to 10 billion on campaigns. The limit for governorship candidates, do you know, many Nigerians may not even have known before now that there is a limit to an amount that a candidate can spend before attaining a political position, right? So for somebody going for governorship, before they should be able to spend up to 1 billion. Now they can spend up to 3 billion. For someone going as a senatorial candidate, can spend up to 500 million. Before they were to spend at 100 million highest. Now someone going for House of Reps can spend up to 250 million compared to 70 million. So that's like a more than double.
It's
more
like
than double the increase.
It's more than times 3.
Right.
It's
now
more than
for
triple.
anybody going for state constituency, state House of Reps, it was raised from 30 million to 100 million. Anybody going for local government chairman can spend up to 60 million naira on their campaign, while anyone going for a local councillor can spend up to 10 million instead of 5 million naira on their campaign. Do you agree with what this Don is saying, that this is too much? Why should anybody be spending so much on campaigns? If this person finally gets into the seat, they want to gather all their money back, and it will be to the detriment of Nigerians.
Yeah, it's a marketable seat. Let me start it from there. These seats are marketable. That's why when they get there, they don't remember you and I. But Choma, you look at it. We're talking about electoral reform. The one that can come out of it so far now is the money they are going to spend. They are not talking about all those gray areas that the INEC used to take over our mandate from us in 2023 general election. Those electronically transmitted results and all that, the IRF, function of the IRF, we have not heard them mention some of those things. Those are the things we're expecting. Nigerians are expecting them to mention that. Are we going to go electronically throughout 2027 election, or we are going to go manual? Which one are we going to be adopt? Not the one that when we go to the church, to the court we now told Nigerians that, oh, INEC has the prerogative to say whether they are going to do it manually or they are going to do it electronically. Those are the ones Nigerians are interested in hearing. We want to hear how the 2027 general election is going to be conducted, whether it's going to be electronically transmitted result through IRF, or it's going to be at the manual form, so that Nigerians will get themselves addressed, get their mind addressed towards 2027. But look at what they are bringing out. They are bringing out the ones that concerns them, because this is where they talk of money. Choma, these billions you read out, does it get to Nigerians? They are going to use it to buy votes. In a Senate client, what you use money for in election is just to print publicity materials and for campaign in the media. But today, these people keep this money and put it in the car boot and bring it to polling booths and begin to share it. They use it to buy rice and buy spaghetti and others and noodles for voters. That's what they are keeping this money for. They just increase it so that they'll be able to bring so many people into their fold, expand their net. So in 2027 general election, because they know too well now that in some elections that they hear them, they say nobody is sharing 10,000 again. They now started sharing 15,000, 20,000. It became the highest bidder. So this money should even be what EFCC should investigate. And how do you even monitor it? This money you read that, billions you are reading that this afternoon. How do you monitor it? What are the parameters put in place to monitor the man that is spending 10 billion as against 5 billion, the man that is spending 50 billion as against 20 billion? There are no parameters. They are just mentioned just to tell Nigerians, just to cajole us. So we should not fly with this. What we should fly with is that let there be proper electoral reform so that our vote can count. Whether they spend 1,000 naira or they spend 2,000 naira, you and I will be interested. This is the person I want to go and vote for, and I know too well that if I vote for this person, my vote will count. So it will be irrelevant. This their money will be irrelevant. Even if you like, collect it from them and go and vote the person you want to go and vote for. That is because when you know that the credibility has come to the electoral system, that if I vote, my vote will be counted. That's what we should be talking about, not the money these politicians want to spend. This money they want to spend, where is it coming from? It is you and I money.
But you know that
it is the same money that they siphon from the system.
Electronic transmission of results is also part of it. It's also part of.
Yes, we have not heard what they are. We have not heard them take a decision on that. They are taking decision around the one that favor them immediately. Nigerians should kick against some of those ones that are detrimental to us. We want to see that we can transmit results from polling unit to ward, from ward to local government to state headquarters. Then Nigerians will also be viewing it on the screen the same way we view the even Ghana's on here. The last presidential election in Ghana, we were viewing it. We saw South Africa, so I don't even want to go to America. We are seeing this one in Africa. It's not rocket science. We can do it. The over 300 billion that was given to Mahmoud Yakub that he squandered and he never did anything, he can give us that. Today he is rewarded with national honor and an ambassadorial position. Must we continue in that? So we want to see the life brought into that electoral act and see how it can be amended to favor you and I. Not this money they are reeling out. This money is coming from you and I. This is our money. Every politician that is contesting for 2027 general election, who is already there now, is keeping out money from all those ones. You had yesterday 6 o'clock news. I analyzed for your colleague Esther when she was talking about the money that was used to bribe them because they want the 2026 budget to sail through, and the president was coming to National Assembly to defend the budget. Those are the money. Those are the things we are talking about. Those monies are mentioned. Who is investigating it? Those thousands of dollars that Nigeria now went and shared just like bonus to them. So it is the money, your money and my money, that they are mentioning there. We should not celebrate it, and we should not even allow it fly. Give us credible election so that even if they spend their money, they can lose that election, because the people will reject them with their money, and the people will vote their conscience, and the vote of the people will count, and the people will be glad for their choices. That's what we are talking about.
All right, then, Mr. Elvis Alemihele, thank you so much for being a part of the conversation this afternoon on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I do appreciate you.
Thank you, Choma. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day as well. You have been listening to the World News at 12, right here on Voice of the People on 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. We heard that the United States is conducting surveillance flights over Nigeria. Suspected ISWAP terrorists arrested in Lagos. FIRS declares NIN as automatic tax ID, and APC endorses Governor Fubara for second term as Rivers Governor. That is a wrap on the World News at 12 on Voice of the People on 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent. Good afternoon to you, and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. Matters will be coming up shortly with Solomon of M.